I have a F150 5.0 Coyote. It's got the Whipple charger on it, and comes from the factory with a 3.5 inch pipe, gets necked down to 3 inch, and then comes back out at the tailpipe at 3.5. So I took off the factory Flowmaster, I took off the factory muffler and resonator, and where the pipe is 3.5 inch coming out of the cats, I cut it off, welded on 3.5 inch tubing and a 40 series Flowmaster. It's the kind that has the chambers in it, and then dumped it before the axle. It sounds really good at idle. Cold start sounds really good. Sounds good when you're driving. But when you accelerate hard, the exhaust screams like a jet engine. And a friend of mine thinks it's the chambered muffler doesn't flow enough, even though it's 3.5 inch all the way through. So he suggested getting one of those straight through mufflers. So I got the Flowmaster FlowFX. It's one of those straight through kind. It's not actually curved like that. As you can see, it is straight through, has the fiberglass fill in it. It's basically Flowmaster's giant glass pack. It's 3.5 inch, and I'm going to cut off my chambered Flowmaster and put on this straight through one. But I figure I'd give the truck one last cold start, see how it sounds with that chambered muffler. And then later I'll do a cold start, see how it sounds with this blow through muffler. I don't know how it sounds on camera, but it sounds really good in person. A little loud to be in a neighborhood, so hopefully this new one will kind of quiet it down a little bit. Once the engine lines the idle out, it quiets it down a bit, so you can come home quiet in the middle of the night, but you cannot start this thing up quietly in the middle of the night. I'll put a video of it revving in a minute.
Your phone sucks. I can't get it to turn off. To stop recording.
Alright, I got the old Flowmaster out. Here's the new one's going to go in its place. Got this chambered one versus the fiberglass filled straight one. Cut them off, swap them out. And this is the pipe where I cut the flange off, weld it so it's 3.5 inch all the way through. All right, here we are a little bit later. Got the old one cut off, the new one welded on. My welds are absolutely terrible with my new welder. They weren't very good with the other welder either. And the black spray paint's there to help prevent rust. All right, this is a cold start with the new muffler. Muffler definitely has a lot more of a bass effect to it. I can really kind of feel it rumbling in my chest as it's idling. Okay, so I drove the truck around with the new FlowFX Flowmaster muffler installed, and it's definitely louder when you cold start the truck, but then when it idles down, the truck's quieter than the other Flowmaster. Also, driving around town, it's a lot quieter and less droney, but there is a deep bass type sound, but it's kind of quiet. The big improvement really comes from hard acceleration. The chambered Flowmaster made a very loud jet engine type sound, like a jet engine does, but which really was terrible. But this new muffler, when you get on it really loud, the muffler just gets louder and stays loud. Sounds a lot better. So I guess it was worthwhile changing out that muffler.